You always bring it, Brad. You're always bringing it.
Welcome back to episode 16 of the Briggity Bro Bobs.
Briggity Bro Bobs!
I'm Bradford,
I'm Jeremy Ford.
and together we're the Briggity Bro Bobs.
Briggity Bro Bobs.
Did you stretch for that?
I didn't. I pulled again.
Unbelievable.
This time my lats pulled a little bit. I can already feel the blood pooling. Ugh. Do you think that's why they call it a pulled lat, a pulled muscle, because the blood pools? Ugh. So stupid. I'm going off script, buddy. I'm not really reading the teleprompter today. Here we go.
What teleprompter?
You have one. I can tell. I can see it in your eyeballs, in your glasses.
What's it say?
It's saying, I'm a turd.
It's my notes.
It's your notes.
And ironically, I just watched Anchorman last night.
Anchorman. San Diego. Means Wells.
And I'm Ron Jeremy? Or not Ron Jeremy.
Burgundy?
Ron Burgundy.
You're
Damn
Ron.
it, who put a question mark at the end of the teleprompter? You know Ron always reads it.
Brad, if you're Ron Jeremy, we have an issue, man. You're in jail.
Well, he's in jail, isn't he?
Yeah. Speaking of news, breaking news, Ron Jeremy in jail. And that's Bradford, the same dude. So what's up, man?
How's your running going, Jeremy?
Not great. My legs are pretty beat up. I only ran like 3 times this week, I think.
Why are your legs so beat up?
Because I did an idiotic workout on Thursday.
What'd you do?
2 mile. Well, see, they say so. I have to start modifying. 20-minute warm up, which is too much of a warm up. That's just a straight up almost run, and right into a 3-mile tempo, which I only did 2.5 miles of because I was running too fast because I'm an idiot. And then a 20-minute cool down, but it's just too much. And I didn't do any drills getting prepared for it. I went right from the warm up / run into a faster run.
And how fast was your warm up?
It was like 8:50, 9-minute pace.
Too fast for a warm up.
I don't disagree, Brad. But I look at the 20 minutes and like, it's a long time just to be like cool, like chugging along. I'm just going slow. I gotta do something here.
So you thought you'd run it faster for the same amount of time?
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's my philosophy, Brad.
That's good decision making.
I think I got 12 miles in this week.
It's not like it was a prescribed distance and you're like, I'd rather just get this over with in 15 minutes.
It was 12. Yeah, it was 20 minutes.
You just said, I'd rather run faster for the prescribed time.
That's right.
To make myself more tired for the tempo.
And I just know that I'm trying to build up some like lead on you coming into our 10K that you refuse to back down from, even though you haven't been able to run it 2, 3 months, 4 months probably.
Weeks.
Months.
Weeks. It'll probably be.
I wouldn't say what you've been doing is running.
I've got scheduled. I've got my surgery scheduled for Halloween.
Yeah, that would be the Monday, right?
Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday?
31st.
I thought Monday. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I know.
You're right. It's
point for Brad.
Jesus Christ, you and your points. You're already winning, Brad. Good job, buddy. So how was your running this week? You're running? The thing we've been doing?
No, we haven't been doing.
I can tell.
Done no running.
0 running. That's just slightly worse than me with my 12 miles this week.
12 miles is infinitely more than 0.
It's not infinitely more, Brad. It's 12 more.
So what would be the multiple? 0 times what equals 12?
Nothing.
Infinite.
No, you can multiply 0 by anything. It's always 0.
Bingo.
You have 0 infinities. That means that you have 0.
How many, so from a percentage standpoint, 100%, 200%, how many percent more running have you done than myself?
I mean, I guess if we wanted to go that route, 0. Because I think it's still
Infinite.
math. It's
Infinite.
not infinite. How can it be infinite? If you wanted to take it, it would be 1,200% at the closest, I would imagine.
At the closest. But it's
Yeah.
not.
Well, 1,200 is way closer than infinite.
So, but think about how big
Point.
1,200% more is.
Point.
Point?
1,200% more pennies isn't a lot of money.
It's a lot more than 0. It's 1,200% more.
Yeah, but pennies. It's $12. Can't get a whole lot for $12 today, Bradford. Can't even go down to Wawa and get yourself a sub for $12, Bradford. This is riveting conversation we've got going on here, man. This might be one of the worst episodes we've ever had.
I dressed up for all this.
Apparently, you did. I don't understand it. What is wrong with us, man?
So, I don't
Jeez.
think I'm going to be able to run until I get my surgery done.
And then after your surgery, right? So you have like a week after that.
Maybe 2 weeks, yeah.
But you're doing a lot of physical therapy.
Oh,
So
yeah.
come
Band
back double
walks.
strong.
Band walks really going to help with my
You're gonna come back double
a
strong.
6-miler.
Dude, do you know how strong your legs are gonna be? You're probably gonna be able to jump, have like a 53, 54-inch vertical. That would be awesome.
72-inch.
Then you could go into the NBA. Just start
They've already
dunking
been recruiting me.
just because of your physical therapy.
Yep. My physical therapist called up the NBA and said, well, specifically, they called the Cleveland Cavaliers and said, this guy's about to jump through the roof.
Literally.
Yeah. We're in a
It,
4-story building and we're not going to be able to contain this guy.
crazy. Crazy. They're gonna
Yep.
have to open it up. It's
Open
gonna have
what
to be
up? The
open air.
roof?
Yeah, open
Yeah.
air, man.
Yep.
Give you some space. Like if you jump that high, like you're gonna really have to measure the distance because you're gonna have to jump from like out of bounds.
What?
Out of bounds, you're gonna have to jump, throw it to yourself while you're in the middle of the air, catch it, and then dunk it in.
Right. Yeah. They're already talking about changing the rules for the jump ball because they're going to need to now have a machine that shoots it up.
But Brad, could you just imagine like what kind of force are your legs gonna take upon themselves when you land? Or if you're dunking, like how you're gonna rip your arms off.
On my way down, I'll be passing the rim. No, I'll be all right.
I don't know, Brad. I think
You
you might
think
have a missing arm.
you think I'll jump so high that I'll reach critical velocity on my way down?
I mean, I wouldn't put it past you, man. I think there's a potential for a couple miles into the air. With
Yep.
that, you're gonna have to like warn. There's gonna be no air traffic for the foreseeable future.
That's not over the stadium.
Nope.
Not
So
over
you're
the
gonna have
stadium.
because you might just like rocket right through the fuselage.
Imagine what it's going to look like when, like, before the races when I'm doing a couple of drills, like A skips, just.
Or when you get amped up and you do like the jump up to get
Oh,
your legs.
right. Yeah, like
You're
before.
gonna jump. You're not gonna come down before the race even starts. We're gonna
Like
have
you're
to
about to
start the
start
race
a
for you.
400 meters.
Yeah. What is wrong with us, Brad? Why are we talking about this?
Jeremy, you ready to talk about the running news?
Well, we're talking about running news.
Running news.
You mean things outside of just putting one foot in front of the other?
Anything that's newsworthy.
Are we newsworthy?
I
We got a
checked.
new viewer.
Well, we did?
Yeah,
Who?
Dan Solo,
Oh, great.
a friend of ours who hasn't been watching our podcast at all or listening. Doesn't even know about it.
So I was doing some show prep.
Okay.
Because I'm dedicated to the craft.
And you're professional.
Right.
Yeah. You look professional. You look nice.
I'm dedicated to Levi said, Daddy-o, isn't that an expensive jacket? I said, what's the matter? He goes, you're wearing an expensive jacket and a $10 Amazon shirt.
Is that one of your fancy shirts, Brad?
Oh, yeah.
Is that a sleeved shirt? Because didn't you get some sleeveless? Like,
I ended up canceling the order, but now I may bring him back. Anyways, as I was doing show prep, I went to like the end all be all of running news. Do you know what that is, Jeremy?
uh, what is it? Let's run.
Let'sRun.com.
Let's
Like the
run.
absolute trash tabloids of running news.
It's all there.
And uh, like there's all these bloggers on there. One of the top blogs from the week is my teammate paces off of me in races and then out kicks me. What should I do?
Well, run faster, my dude.
It was a high school girl, and she said that she went on to elaborate that it's causing her mental anxiety and stress because she does not like this girl. That she says she does it every practice in every race, and she's yet to beat her. And the comments were just like, "Well, just run faster." Some people were saying like you need to accelerate out of turns.
Look, this is cross country, right? Or is this like track as well?
I assume it was just cross country.
Well, look, just crush it. Just go out from the very get go and crush it. Put it out there
Well,
so that you don't think you can finish.
your
She can't
fitness
finish.
is only going to take you so far.
Yeah, but just out fitness them. Start doing do second, third, and fourth runs during the day.
How
Right? Build up that
how are you going
mileage.
to out fitness them if they're running every practice with you?
Like I just said, do a third, fourth, fifth, sixth run during the day.
Yeah, okay.
Start cranking it up to like 40, 45 miles a day. Guarantee nobody comes close.
Oh, okay. Probably you will get closer to being in a hospital.
Are you mean me personally, or you being the person who's running 45 miles a day?
The person running 45 miles a day.
So I've been watching this guy on one of the social medias. I don't even know which one. But he does he's trying it for a year where he's running the miles for the day of the month it is. So like 1 mile for like October 1st, 2 miles and so forth.
31 miles on my surgery day.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to 1 mile.
Yeah. But he's worked through like 3 or 4 months already doing this.
And
he's like, it's just a grind, man. He's like the days where it's like 20 plus miles, he's out there for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours.
Does he break it up or just one run?
I don't know. He doesn't. I guess I didn't watch enough of him, but like he's pretty inspirational. He just talks about.
He's so
running.
inspirational that you have no idea what he's doing.
He doesn't need to talk about how he does it. He just talks about like that he's doing it, and he like wants.
So how do you know he's doing it?
Because he's running while he's doing it. Like you can actively see him running, and he's had a number of
So
people.
how do you not know how he's doing the run?
I don't know if he's doing 1 run or 2 runs. I don't know if every single post is a different run. Like, I don't know. Do you want me to reach out to him?
I feel like you haven't even watched it.
Oh my God, Brad. His purpose is to help people PR in distances. So he's like, dude, whenever I'm running, if you're in my area, and I don't know where his area is either, just come out and run with me, and I'll get you a PR, and we'll just run together. And it's really cool.
So in the middle of his 30-mile run, like if you have a 5K PR of 15:45, he'll be like, all right, let's go.
Distance PR, Brad. A distance PR.
Oh, like how long you go?
Yeah.
Where does he live? Let me guess.
Ohio.
You don't know? You don't know?
Ohio. No, I don't. I just told you I didn't know where you lived. I'm just telling you.
He sounds like he's been super motivating to you. You have essentially what's his name?
I don't know.
Wow.
He just pops up at my feet. I don't know. He's just there. I'm like, hey, look, this guy's running again. And what day are we? Oh, we're at the 22nd. Sweet, he's got 22 miles today. I don't even know his name. His name isn't inspirational, Brad.
That was the most meaningless story. It was like you don't know his name. You don't know how he does the runs.
No,
You
but
don't
he's
know where he invites people to meet him, but you don't know where to meet him.
yes, I can figure that out. Look, I'll pull up. I really have. I was gonna pull out my phone, but I'm using it to record, so I can't do that now. Oh, jeez, I need to get a better setup.
Super inspirational.
I thought you said you were gonna get yourself a little podcasting booth.
Yeah, not overnight, Jeremy. That's not the way that works.
You told
Just
me that earlier
boom,
today. It could have
boom, it's
happened
here.
within that past 9 hours.
Here you are an abs. That's as foolish as this comment you made about how inspirational this guy is.
He's inspirational because he's just getting out there doing it. He's not even concerned about pace. He's just running.
Churlish.
You love that word. You only learned that word because of Key and Peele.
Churlish.
What does it mean, Brad? Go ahead and
It's you.
tell us the definition.
I don't know it.
If you like the word, how's it any different than my dude?
I assume out of context it means childlike.
Not necessarily.
Well, go
You're
ahead and
close.
give us
You're
it.
not off. You're not off. Just kind of like, I don't know, disrespectful, rude, a little aloof type of thing.
You, basically.
Yeah, me, 100%.
Jeremy
Churlish.
Churlish Clover.
Churlish is my middle name. You didn't know that?
All right. Well, let's actually get into the running news at some point over the course of this podcast that's been meaningless and nowhere.
But it's been fun.
Bringing to you today's most inspirational story of people we don't know or know where they are.
I don't know half of these people. I don't know. Why should I know them?
Start a Instagram page like Tank's Good News. It's inspirational people. We don't know who they are, what they're doing, but there's plenty of them out there.
We don't know where they are, but we'll find them.
We're under the assumption today that there's somebody inspirational out there that's doing great things.
If you care to know, let us know, because we don't know.
Yep. Let's start off with the Twin Cities Marathon being canceled over heat.
That's what I had as my first number one.
Jeremy, are we making this a contest?
No. I'm just saying this is inspirational for people where two people are thinking alike. That could be inspirational.
Okay. Twin Cities Marathon canceled because of heat concerns.
Heat concerns. Yep.
So
And
let's just start off with, should marathons be canceling based off of concern for runners over heat?
I think concern for runners over any number of things could be a potential reason that you would want to cancel. Yeah, I think that's okay.
So canceling marathons is fine.
I didn't say it was fine. I'm sure that the people who make these decisions are under a lot of pressure when they do it, and lots and lots of people are unhappy about it.
So
Yeah.
they cited their number one concern was overwhelming the volunteer medical staff, and that they just didn't have the capacity needed if it was going to be a record heat day in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That they wouldn't be able to even tend to all the people that were having medical issues.
I mean, I think that's a fair point, right? If you need medical attention, you need medical attention. It's not something you take lightly. But I do remember hearing that the heat wasn't as heaty as they were predicting. It was
but at some point you have to make it a call.
You do. I know, but they made it what, the morning, like the early morning of, or the night, the evening
I
before.
think it was the day before, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't predict what it's going to be like. You can kind of predict. Kind of, I guess. I don't know.
So
But
is there like a temperature that it's just...
Well,
so they just canceled Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Yet they're going to be running, I think it's a 12 o'clock start time, the Olympic Marathon Trials in Orlando, Florida in December, which it's still going to be 80 some odd degrees.
But those are elite level athletes, Brad, and there are going to be a lot fewer people there to run.
Is there?
Do you think there are going to be as many people as the Twin Cities Marathon running the Olympic trials?
So, but if you have medical concerns about average Joes, like you just throw it out the window for elite athletes?
No, but they are probably better prepared to handle it than an average person. I would imagine like they're better. I mean, obviously they're more
Where does
fit
the average elite distance runner train at?
in
Do they
Orlando,
train in
Florida.
heat? No.
I think that a lot of them find ways to train in what they think they're going to be experiencing during that time. Yeah. They've known about Orlando for how long? How long has it been since it was announced that Orlando would be
Well, how
the
about a bare minimum just moving up the start time to like a normal marathon start time, 7 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, well, sure, that's an easy fix. But I'm sure they're still training in heat and humidity. You would have to think that they would be, otherwise they wouldn't
I
be
assume
prepared,
so.
or they wouldn't be prepared for what was bound to come. Even if it's like a cool day down there, like you grew up there. What in December? What is the temperature? What is the
It's
weather
going to
like?
be hot and humid. At
There you go.
noon, like there's just no way around it.
Yeah, but if it's in Ohio, Brad, what's it going to be like in Ohio in December?
Pretty cold, I bet. Chance of
That
snow.
that would probably be more ideal than anything.
Chance of
Cold
snow.
weather brings faster times.
So are we in agreement that like canceling marathons to protect your participant base is good?
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Despite the fact that people had already showed up in Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would imagine, like I said, I would imagine that those people were pretty peeved. At least a few of them. I mean, you got to think
I
these
gotta
people.
imagine half of the field was like, this is ridiculous. I've been peaking for 2 weeks, ready to do this. And the other half thought, yes, I barely wanted to do this to start with.
I would have probably been in that half. Because especially if it's gonna be hot, and I am not a hot weather runner. I just wither in the heat. Like I am awful in the heat.
What about
Um,
issuing refunds? So I saw that they are issuing refunds to runners.
so are they issuing refunds to those? Are they offering like a deferral to next year, like so you can push it and do it next year without having to pay, or you can get your money back?
I mean, that I don't know. I think that's what they previously did through COVID, through all the cancellation races, is they
Yeah,
offered deferments.
that's
So,
what
but
it.
a lot of people would like this was still the rub during COVID. A lot of people said, "Well, I just want my money back. Like I'm never coming back."
I think like you have to take like yes, it's going to cost the race money, and Brad, you made this point abundantly clear before we talked here on the podcast, but and it may put them into some financial straits, but it could also put a couple of people in financial straits. Like they had spent all this money. I mean, I know they spent the money; it was already spent, right? So
Hmm.
that's not something that they're losing out on. They're missing out on running for 3 or 4 hours or whatever it may be. But they've also trained for potentially years to get to this point with expectations that maybe they'd qualify for something like Boston or New York or whatever it may
So
be.
I understand and sympathize with an individual. Conversely, like the majority of marathons are nonprofits
Mhm.
with a charity function, with a sunk cost. They have a staff on hand essentially year round. You've got your website to continuously update. You have all the logistics to plan with the city. You have the cost of street closures through the city, t-shirts, medals, all of all of the staff that has to be there from a medical standpoint, from the official timing that typically no major marathon does their own timing. It's all outsourced.
Yeah,
So they're like the timing company isn't saying, well, listen, you guys canceled the race, we showed up. Don't worry about paying us.
they could out of like kindness of their heart. No, Brad, I was thinking about it, and just based on my last statement, I think that it shouldn't be required. But if the race feels that it can, like I'm assuming that the race feels that it can probably do this, right? Like they can probably eat
I'm
this cost for some of them and be
I
okay.
mean, I think the marathon has to be under the assumption that 20% want a refund no matter what.
Right.
There's going to be like a 30% that pay no attention to it, and then another 50% that are willing to defer.
Yeah. So I think that the race wouldn't offer to do it to give the money back if they didn't think they like I said, if they didn't think they could do that, right, financially. Because I mean, I'm sure that there's some stipulation where you sign a waiver saying there will be no refunds. So they didn't weren't obligated, but maybe they'll do it for a couple of folks. Maybe people will just be like, hey, it doesn't really matter. I'll like truly, what are you missing out on by getting the race canceled on you, right? Like you're missing out on a marathon and potentially like a qualification for like Boston or whatever. But
Yeah, but so I think that's probably the worst excuse of all of them, that you're missing out on a BQ time when you've done an entire training block, and now instead of running the marathon that you just peaked for, like you don't have the physical breakdown of running the 26.2 miles. So you could probably re-peak for another race in 6 weeks as opposed to
sure,
18.
no, I agree with that. But I mean, that's not on their mind right now, right? Or when that race was canceled the night before they were supposed to race. They get amped up. They go out to dinner. They get themselves right. They eat
You
some
mean
Olive
I ate
Garden.
600 garlic sticks at Olive Garden for nothing?
That's right. That's commitment. No, I look. I mean, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, right? So
Well, I think what
I would rather
frustrates me,
cancel a race, potentially like make it so that we lose out on 20%, 30%, 40% of the money we were bringing in, than have like run the race and then have four people die, at the race because of lack of ability to get to them in time or whatever it may be.
I think so. I think what you're hitting on is basically the same route that I consistently come down. It's if you're making decisions based off of a good intent, there can arguably be no bad decision. So if you're doing it for the health and well-being of the participants that you're looking out for, and this isn't some cash grab, this isn't a Ponzi scheme. So I just wish on both sides, both from uh, it seems like everything that I've read on this, the participants are just up in arms that want a refund. And they're the loudest ones banging on the doors saying, this is absolutely ridiculous. I paid my money. I'm getting nothing in return, yada, yada, yada. And they have
They
no
got
consideration. Yeah, they have no consideration for what is happening on the other end of it. And they don't even take the time to then just ask, well, like, why, like, I know I signed off saying that this is non refundable, but I want my refund. I don't care if I didn't read it, and I don't care what's happening on the other side of the table. My money is the most important, and that's it.
yeah, those people are selfish. That would be me. I'd be like emailing every 13th minute, losing my mind. I'll never come back to this race again.
I'm going on the Let's Run forum, and I'm going to bash you.
That's right. To everybody who, how dare you? Are we under? So we both get a point for that, Brad? Because we're keeping tabs, right? We agreed.
I think that they just said I won that one.
Who did they? And how did you win when we agreed?
But we only half agreed. Basically, they said my points of validity were so far superior to what you presented that it's an automatic win.
That's much bullshit. There's
Sorry.
some bias going on now over there.
This is why we have an impartial judicial system to take care of this.
What? Who's the impartial jury system? Your
It's,
kids?
Jeremy, you can't put a name to these people and then have people hounding these people and threatening them.
You're right, Brad. I'm sorry. Witness intimidation is
It's
a real,
okay.
it's a real thing.
I appreciate you recognizing that now and
Big time.
understanding how this third party is.
I'm gonna reach out to my Twitter fans. Twitter fans.
Are you even on X?
I have an X. I have an X since probably 2018, but I've got an X.
Okay.
I've got it just in case. I need to reach out to my folks.
Okay. Perfect.
All four of them.
So Jakob Ingebrigtsen, who I believe just won Runner of the Year.
Oh, did he? That
Yeah,
makes sense. He's
him
put
and
down
him
pretty
and
good gear.
Femke Bull.
Ooh, yeah, I love her to death. She's awesome.
So I believe, like, I'm 99% sure they both just won Runners of the Year. Uh, Ingebrigtsen's dad accused of abusive behavior to his entire family. So all three of the training brothers. He's
Yeah.
coaching one of their competitors from
It,
Norway.
but that's like you're just coaching. Of course, their brothers are competitive with each other. I don't think that's anything to speak of because there are lots of
So, but
coaches
he's
out
not coaching the three brothers, but he's coaching one of their
there. He has
competitors.
the, he has a love for the sport. He wants to make people better. Like what, you can't fault him for that.
So, when Jakob just got married, no dad at the wedding.
Jakob got married.
Oh yeah,
Is she a runner as well?
I don't know, Jeremy.
What the shit do you
I've
know,
not
Brad?
been stalking Jakob. It just said his dad
I
was
just
not
want to
at the
call him
wedding. Jacob.
Yeah, that's what I want to call him. Sorry,
Okay.
Jakob. So Jakob, yeah, his dad apparently was not a nice dude.
I don't know what the news is there, or what there is to discuss that, other than reading
Well,
the headline.
the fact is his dad is coaching somebody else and not the brothers, right? So that's okay. That's kind of weird, but it
I
is
didn't
what it.
realize that his dad hadn't been coaching him for over 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
know either. I just assumed it was like family
I mean, don't
affair.
they still have that show, like Living with the Ingebrigtsens in Finland or what, or in
I,
Norway?
you're talking to the wrong person. I have no
Yeah, they
idea.
they have their own TV show.
Huh? Huh?
They're like
Have you
hella
seen it?
famous. What's that?
Have you seen it?
No, Kira has.
Is it like on YouTube or something? Can you get it on Apple?
I
Maybe I need to
think you
watch
can
this.
get it on YouTube.
I have to watch this bad boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Does she find it inspirational?
About as inspirational as that guy that you have no idea about anything. About as inspirational as him.
Well, sure. That's
Kira does
pretty.
not like Jakob at all. She thinks he's arrogant.
He is arrogant.
He
He always comes up. He always comes up with excuses when he doesn't win. Oh, I think I got the black lung.
I've never heard the black lung excuse.
You know what I'm referencing, Bradford?
I've heard that he's been sick with something the last two world championships that he's lost.
Only for the 1500, but he can always come back and just rally for the 5K.
Well, he's always said the 1500 isn't his best event, that the 5K is his best event.
Well, why isn't he running that more?
Because you have to maximize your time at speed while you have speed. Same reason that you owe me 5 minutes for being 2 years older than you.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
Nope.
I don't owe you nothing.
Speed leaves you.
It leaves you. It doesn't leave me. I'm as fast as I've ever been.
Wrong. Wrong.
Brad, I can go out there and run a 48-second quarter right now.
No chance.
Right now.
So now we're going to have to throw into this a 400-meter time trial. You can do it on your no pacers.
Well, sure. I don't want the lights either. I don't want the pacing lights.
Where are you going to go and get the lights?
I'll find somewhere. I'll make them myself. I'm going to wear shoes that I've had for 15 years, 20 years.
I'm throwing on spikes.
I'm throwing on some Japan Lightnings.
Okay.
And let's just do it.
Okay. So we're going to see how close you get to 48.
Shit. Well, let's do it this way. The two of us, out of the two of us, who gets closest to our PR?
Jeremy, I'm not even thinking PR. I mean,
No, I know, but who's getting closest to our PR that we have?
Well, let's just say this. Who is even going to break 60?
I bet I could break 60.
Oh, God.
When are we doing?
The day before the 10K.
Done. I'm definitely breaking 60. I'm stopping with my mileage and going straight speed now.
Good.
4 by 400 meters, here we go. 10 by 100, done.
So, wrapping up, Jakob's family sounds like an absolute mess.
Dude, I don't envy that whole nonsense. Dad said he's never been violent. I don't know. I don't know.
Innocent
Like,
till proven guilty, but it's I don't know
look,
what to say.
it can be mentally abusive. I don't know, like physically,
Sure.
like if you get like I was spanked when I was a kid. Was that physical abuse? I don't know.
It's actually the definition of physical abuse. It's physically beating you.
Yeah, but that was the expectation when we were growing up. Maybe not for you, but for me, like I got my ass kicked often.
How'd that help?
Maybe the person I am today.
Okay. And would you think that's any way to parent today?
No, not at all.
Hmm. Okay.
Never ever
So
would I ever do that to my son. But that
I'm not really sure that
I grew up in a different
I
like I
know,
grew
but I mean, I feel like that's moving too fast from actually physical beating to the norm to just completely out of the picture. It's moving too fast, Jeremy.
Brad, stop. Look, I know where you're going with this. I know how you're angling. I don't. I know how you're angling. This has been over like 35 years, Brad.
It's too fast.
It's not. That's not too
It's
fast.
and speaking of too fast, Kibwat Candy, 57:40 half marathon with three other runners, four total runners under 58 minutes in a half marathon.
That doesn't even.
Insane.
That is
Insane.
that is insane, and it's also stupid. It's
It's
also stupid.
it's exactly like my last analogy. It's just happening too fast.
It is. See, thank you. I agree with that. It is happening too
We
fast.
need to get back to beating kids.
No, Brad, stop. I didn't say
No,
that.
that's too short of a timeline to just take that from a principled norm of American child
Look,
rearing to none of it. It's no
stop.
wonder this country's in.
There's not even a comparison there.
It's happening
If it
too
happened
fast.
overnight with that, that wouldn't be too quickly. We're talking about taking what used to be what was the standard and saying, okay, that standard, the best that ever has been forever that we've ever known, is now within reach
The
of
best
4,
we've
10,
ever known
15 people.
that was relevant to you.
For the 58-minute half marathon?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean it's relevant to me?
You're saying it's breaking these barriers that have been around forever.
I didn't say forever. I
They're
said
only relevant to you. Ryan Hall broke an hour in the marathon or half
I'm
marathon.
aware of that. I know. What I'm
And how
saying
many
is that
years ago was that?
it doesn't, Brett. That's not even in the same. What are you talking about right now? What does that have to do with what we're talking about right now? Which is the world record was like 57:30 something.
Okay.
To have four people within half of a minute, like 20 seconds of this thing, that is the pinnacle of what everything was. To say that there are four people now, and there are probably even another dozen of them somewhere else in the world, like it just takes away, like whatever's going on. I'm not against improvement. I'm not against moving things forward, but it shouldn't be that like there are 15 people as good as there ever had, like than the best person there ever has been right now. It doesn't make any sense. This should be like a once in a generation or once in a decade type of thing, or a five-year type of thing where you have these people who are just inching it forward, not saying, okay, well, I'm gonna break the world record by 13. Like, so what the women's world record in the marathon was broken by like 2.5 minutes.
Yep.
That's insane. That doesn't even make any sense.
So who holds the half marathon world record?
I don't even know his name. I don't know a whole lot
You
of people.
should. I mean, he just ran 57:40 and won the Valencia
well,
half
then you tell
marathon.
me. Okay, so that's the world record holder. Cool. But there are three people right behind him.
I know, but you're saying it's outrageous that he was 8 seconds away from his own world record.
No, that's different. He is the world record holder. Of course he's going to be at that point. But to say that there is somebody else, three other somebody else's who are right there and within striking distance of the best runner there ever has been in a half marathon doesn't make any sense. And they're the same race. In the same race.
Yeah.
Statistically speaking, that should not happen.
Why?
Statistics.
So statistically speaking, when Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute record, they said that was a record that could not be broken. He breaks it within weeks. There was like 5 people that broke 4. They
Was
said
it
it was
5? Like 2 or
humanly
3 other people.
impossible.
It was like 2 or 3 other people, and they were all
They
right there. You're right. But
they
these
said it
guys,
was
have these guys
humanly
have
impossible.
the other 3 people who
Hmm.
have broken 58. What was their PR before today?
I don't know.
That's something you should know.
Why should I know that?
Because you should know it, because you are the knowledge person.
Nope.
I'm the big ideas person. You're the knowledge person.
Small ideas is more like it.
Biggest ideas.
Nope.
Are you looking it up right now?
Maybe.
There's no so if these guys were the 4 best ever to have lived ever before today, and then they were all right there together running the same race just to see, like, duking it out, that's something different. But if these guys were like
the
we're at 59-30, and then all of a sudden they were at 57-50, it's a big difference.
when Hisham El Garouche won the 5,000 in the Olympics,
Okay,
who did he beat?
he definitely beat me.
Bernard Lagat, I believe, and Eliud Kipchoge, I believe.
He also beat everybody else who was behind him.
I know, but those are all world-class runners, all in one
Yeah.
race. You're saying that should just never happen.
I didn't say that, Brad. I didn't say that. That was at an Olympics or World Championships. What was this race?
Kinesia Bekele in it?
I don't know. What race was this? You said
Valencia half marathon.
Okay, not World Championships.
I know, but they all travel to big races to run fast times.
Yeah.
So, why do they go to these big races to run fast times and go for world records? Is because there's always a bonus for breaking world records.
You're going for a world record. There shouldn't be 4 people right now in the same race.
Why not?
But why?
So a world record should just be a runaway.
Those 4 people are the fastest there ever has been of all time. If
Jeremy,
you're telling me that's the case, then that's awesome.
Jeremy, you're saying, though, so world record, there should be no one close to him. It should be a runaway train. And then when that does happen, you say, well, that just seems unreasonable.
Yes.
So if there's a group of people pushing them to a world record, not fair, that's impossible to happen statistically speaking.
It seems awfully fishy to me. What that means is we have some shoe doping.
Right. And then when okay. And then when there's a runaway train, somebody wins by 2.5 minutes, you say, well, that can't be right. He won by 2.5 minutes. Like, that's just not even fair. Like the women's marathon.
Fair. I don't say anything about being fair. I say it's fishy. I say it's not the way it should be.
So when is it never not fishy?
When it happens after, like, I don't know, you have the best that ever has been, and then all of a sudden, like, you have a little bit of a reprieve, and there's like 3 or 4 years of people, and then all of a sudden you have somebody who's like, you see incrementally getting faster and faster and faster and faster, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, I've worked my way up to this, let's go past it. If you're telling me that there are 4 people who are right there, the world record holder included, and they've been there the entire time, and it's just like they haven't had a chance to break the world record, then that's cool. But I don't think
so. Do you know that they haven't been incrementally moving their?
And you don't.
So you're just saying that, like, you're under the assumption that they have not incrementally improved.
Shoe doping.
You're under the assumption they have not incrementally improved, but you have nothing to back it up.
Shoe doping.
You have no idea what their names are, even.
You don't either.
But
Brad, we're going to talk about this.
I'm not making an argument. I'm not making an argument that this is unreasonable.
Next podcast, we're going to talk about it. Write it down. I'm writing it down right now. Where is it? 4 people under 58 who, let's look at time dropping. Okay, done. It's on my notebook.
Okay.
Done. I'm right. You're wrong. Point.
No. So speaking to this, Titus Ikairu previously held the number 6 all-time fastest marathon. Banned 10 years for doping and faking hospital records.
I would imagine that they're going to go after all the shoe dopers too.
Oh, right. Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's big. Like, I mean, is it that big though? Truly, like, I think
it's not as big in the fact that he's Kenyan.
That's expectation.
Kenya's doping protocols are just non-existent. They
Yep.
only get tested when they run in international marathons or world championship events.
Yeah.
They've had 70 athletes banned in the last 5 years. And if you
Yeah.
look at 70 athletes, how many sprinters are coming out of Kenya? It's all distance runners. Like they
But isn't Divine Oduduru? Is he not Kenyan, or maybe he's some other? I don't know where he's coming from, but I know that he just got banned as well for like 6 years. He's a sprinter.
So it's I know the majority of the runners there banned are distance runners because that makes up the bulk of their training programs.
And I would venture to say, didn't the IOC like don't they have something against? Well, they did against like Russia.
Yep.
I know it's. I mean, part of it is because of like their like uh, the war that's going on, but also
Well,
part of it is
Russia's
because,
banned from Olympic competitions.
yes, but also part of it is because of their like cheating.
History of doping, yes.
Yeah. So when is it going to be that Kenya gets to that level?
I would think it's now.
But it's not, though, is it? Or do you know something I
Well,
don't?
no. Well, I mean, I think if you look at this, so I think there's 2 points. The first point, we're talking about specifically Kenya as a nation being banned from Olympic competition, would basically be quite detrimental to the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
So, given that the majority of distance runners, the top end of distance, a big bulk of that is made up by Kenyan runners. And so,
But
and when you're looking at the marathon, the most famous Olympic marathon runner is bar none Eliud Kipchoge. So to
mhm.
ban him from the Olympic Games because he's part of a country, I don't think that they want to go through that. It doesn't behoove him from a PR standpoint. It doesn't behoove him from a financial standpoint. Like there's almost no
But
incentive.
they can only bring how many people per event anyway.
3.
So I mean, yeah. So I mean, you have to set a
Imagine this
standard. You have
Olympics
to set a
without
standard at some
Eliud
point.
Kipchoge.
What about him?
Imagine this Olympics without Eliud Kipchoge.
Okay, I would be unfortunate. I would be unfortunate. But again, like, okay, let's just imagine like somebody else, like LeBron James gets caught cheating somehow. Wait, like you get rid of him, right? Like it's just what is it is what it is. Like if you are part of a program that is known and has suspicion to be cheating, and they get banned, that's like it's unfortunate for the people who weren't partaking in that. Not saying that Iliad isn't, but he's just not getting caught, perhaps. But it's just like it's part of the deal, man. Like, do you want you're okay with cheating or you're not? Like, you have to make a decision. You
So
can't say just because of one
everybody
or two
says that they're
athletes.
against cheating until it impacts them financially. So the US has been known for years to help athletes. There's been rumors for as long as I can remember about um, Carl Lewis
Mm-hmm.
failing doping protocols in the US then discarding that test to let him continue running.
Well, that's like I'm not saying that that's good. I'm saying that's bad. I'm saying like at some point, like
Well,
if
no one's
that's the
saying it's
case,
good. I'm saying that there's a financial incentive for the Olympic Committee, IOUC or whatever, to keep Kenya involved in the Olympic Games versus Russia. So nobody looks at Russia and says like, oh geez, like there's one good pole vaulter and a high jumper that are missing the Olympics, and that like them not being a part of the Olympic Games has a financial impact on the Olympics.
sure. I mean, but again, so outside of distance running, they're not like what else are they bringing to the Olympics? The Olympics isn't just about track and field.
What's the biggest event in Olympics?
Probably
Track
beach
and
volleyball.
field.
Beach
Track
volleyball.
and field.
Gymnastics.
No,
Gymnastics.
it's
Swimming.
always track and field.
Swimming's pretty up there too.
It's always track and field.
I mean, track and field's big, and maybe it's the
Does
biggest,
Kenya
and maybe
does
we have a
Kenya have
bias.
it? Does Kenya have a swimming program?
I have no idea.
Think of the number of countries that aren't involved in swimming versus track
Okay.
and field.
Well, sure, I understand that, right? But again, we have to make a decision. Like, if we're okay with a little bit of cheating, because it's, whatever, it's
I'm
financially
not
like
saying that any cheating
detrimental.
is right. I'm saying that the athletes are financially incentivized to cheat,
Yeah, for sure.
and then Olympic committees, doping agencies,
I,
shoe companies,
here's a
everybody
hot
is in
take. Oh,
everybody is incentivized financially to keep their bread and butter above board with what if they're cheating, keeping them out of the cheating limelight.
here's a better like option. Just let doping happen.
I think that's a terrible take, but okay.
I mean, truly, if people are going to go this far, like, and let countries that have more money be able to get away with this stuff until they can't,
Well, there's
right?
no
Caught
way
up with
Kenya
them.
has more money than Russia.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is like we know what's going on, and we're all like, I know you're all for like performance records and shit. Like, let's just let people get as like performative as they can. Like, let's go. Let's see how far we can push the human body, and like just acknowledge it and have it no longer be a secret. Just let it be out in the open, and let's just see. And that would be cool. The whole thing with me is that these records are being broken due to some things that are not in the part of the person. Some of it could be shoe doping. Some of it could be that they're actually doping. Some of it could be like new technology, which is fine, whatever, whatever. But if we're going to do it, let's do it all the way, not just part of the way.
So I think your shoe doping take is still just trash.
Well, I don't
There's
care.
so
You're
many records
you're
that
right.
have not been broken with shoes.
I'm aware. Like
So which
what?
means that they're not the end all be all.
They are the be all end all. You're right.
So and I've never seen any scientific data backing new track shoes versus old track shoes
What about the
from
dragonflies?
I've never seen any empirical data showing that they improve
Have you
efficiency.
have you looked for empirical data?
I've not yet. So, but if you're telling me Nike wouldn't publish that, just like for the Vaporfly, the first 4%, they published the data saying 4% incremental improvement. Why did they publish that? Because it boosts their shoe sales. How would they not do the same thing with the Dragonfly?
Because the dragonfly is more of a niche shoe. How many people are actually going to wear the dragonfly versus how many people are going to go out and get the alpha flies?
So that it's not worth them promoting it at all.
I'm sure it's like the people who know about the dragonfly are the people who are going to use it anyway, aka the track athletes who are like high school and college and professional. Like the average person isn't going to go out and get a pair of track spikes. It makes up
Fair.
such a small
So,
portion
but they
of their
still
overall
sell
sales.
track spikes.
They do, but and the people who are wearing them already know about them. It's not something you have to get out to the average Joe and pay $250 for a pair of shoes. I know that the dragonflies are expensive. They're what, like 180 or something, but
No,
the people who are going,
Dragonflies are 150, I think.
well, so I was off by $30, but not 250 or $300 like the alpha flies are.
Well, how about Iliad Kipchoge finally posting after the world record marathon? And he never mentioned it. No congratulations, no acknowledgement of his world record being broken, no nothing, just announcing his next racing schedule.
It's back to business. He's no longer the world record holder.
I know, but wouldn't you think one world record holder would congratulate another?
Maybe he knows something that we don't.
Such as.
He is Kenyan.
so, so like 3/4 of his training teammates have been busted Iliad Kipchoge's, but he's gonna be like upset with this guy.
Probably. Well, no, those guys haven't broken his record. Maybe he's a little butthurt. Like,
So,
I don't. Is that really news, Brad? Like, okay,
oh yeah, that's big news.
he's upset. Look, he has been the best for
So
how
why not
long?
acknowledge it? Like I'm coming back for my record.
Because maybe he doesn't want to give any more. Like, I don't know, any more
So
to
in
that.
other sports,
Yeah,
like when you lose in basketball, NBA finals, is it appropriate to like say congratulations to the other team, or you just walk off and eh?
well, no, you say congrats, but it's not the same thing. They weren't at the same race.
So what's the
I'm sure if
penalty
they
of
were the
saying
same
this?
race, Iliad would have gone up to what's his name, kipped him,
I
and
mean,
be
I
like,
feel
"Good job, Bubs."
I feel like essentially what he's saying is his tagline is "No human is limited, unless it's Kelvin Kiptum who beat me. Then I'm going to ignore that.
See, that's exactly. Like, I like Iliad so much because he knows what's up.
No human is limited unless you beat me. Then I'm not going to acknowledge you." Even though
No,
no one is limited, which, by the way, this counters your entire theory. He's saying no human is
I
limited, and
don't
you're
care.
saying no groups shouldn't. You just said he's your favorite athlete.
I didn't say that. I was being facetious, Brad. I think he's a pretty good one, but I think that again, he let his he's like I think all of these super elite athletes are just so far up their own asses. It kind of gets ridiculous. Like he's got a message to put out there until his message is no longer because he can't like back it up. So then he gets butthurt. Uh, Jakob is like, hey, I'm. so
Don't you think that's so? Don't you think that's an important part of being super elite athletes? So Michael Jordan found ways, even when people didn't say bad things about him, he would turn like somebody's mundane quote into like locker room fodder
sure,
to play mad against that person. So Tiger Woods says, I think Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus both said the same thing. Like every putt that they would miss, that they felt like they should make, they would blame something so that they don't have to accept responsibility. Like it kept them in a better performance mindset by saying, well, there was like like a ball mark that I wasn't allowed to fix in front of me or a spike mark that
right,
missed. Like it wasn't my putting stroke. It
right.
was something it was something outside of my control.
So what point are you making right now? You're making my point. They got butthurt and they don't want to admit that they weren't where they needed to be when they needed to be there.
I'm asking, isn't this like like a necessary part of being an elite athlete?
No, I think there are people who can just man up and say, you know what, I wasn't at my best, or that person's better than me, but I'm going to work toward it. I think that's being
Like
more
who?
of a like what?
Like how many athletes do you see do that?
This guy. If you would have beat me, if you would have beat me, Brad, I would have acknowledged, like, you know what, Brad, you know what, you had a good race, you beat me fair and square. Like it is what it is.
Well,
Like
first
I
of
just
all, the Briggity Bro Bobs are not elite athletes.
we are to some people.
Jeremy, you can find so not taking the exception, like look at the majority of NFL players, NBA players, elite athletes at anything, track and field athletes. If you're at that level, you probably have something mentally hardwired in your head that makes you this way. So
Yeah.
you're already a physical specimen.
Yep.
So I've got that part down. I feel like it's the hardwiring that I'm missing.
I think I've got it all. I just have broken Achilles tendons.
There's nothing broken about your Achilles tendons.
Yes, I can barely walk right now.
No.
Yes.
Let's wrap it up.
I,
I've got other notes on here, but the
yep.
Nuttycombe invite in Wisconsin, Parker
Yep.
Valby
Yep.
upsets Caitlin Toohey with a course record in the wind and rain. I'm guessing you're upset with her for breaking the course record?
No, I don't care about that. I think it's pretty badass. I wonder if her
So why
training
aren't
has
you upset
changed.
about that?
Why would I be upset about that?
Because Caitlin Toohey's been the best, and now all of a sudden you're saying Parker
I don't
Valby's
care about that.
better and breaking a cross country record on a cold, windy, rainy
Maybe
day?
maybe she put. I mean, you can have a good race occasionally. Look, I wonder if Parker Valby her training has changed because I know she was very low mileage.
She just got a new coach this year.
Yeah, so I think probably part of what was going on is that her like the training with her other coach just wasn't working the way it should have or whatever. But now that she's got something figured out, I think Caitlin's got something to worry about, obviously, because she got worked over. So I think that's pretty cool. Like Parker Valby wasn't like she got beat by Caitlin, but it wasn't like a blowout necessarily. It was she took it out and then she got beat at the end because she lost, like she didn't have the fitness to finish off what she
And
started.
then lost to her that season in all of the distance events at NCAA
Did,
championships in
didn't
track and
she?
field.
Yeah, didn't she also get injured though? Hadn't she been working? Wasn't she working through injury last year?
Who?
Parker thought she
No,
was.
no,
Thought she was. But
no.
anyway, I think. I mean, that's not the same thing, Brad. It's not we're us running a world record.
I know, but think of all the best runners in the country have always run Nutty Comb Invite.
I mean, I never ran it,
It's one
so
of
that's
the
a lie.
it's one of the biggest cross country races every single year.
Yeah,
So it's
but she was
arguably one of
running
the
there.
most important ranking races for NCAA teams to get at-large bids for the NCAA cross country championships, which, by the way, the NAU men and women swept the podium on for won the men's race and the women's race, and in turn are now the number one ranked teams, both men and women, one school.
I think that is about right. I mean, NAU's been like powerhouse for men, at least I know, for how many years? Like it's just what they do. The women though, I didn't know much about. I know that NC State's been up there for the past 2 years, and the
Yep.
expectations was that they were going to be again, but
Well,
looks like
with
they have.
Caitlin Toohey returning, yes. So
Yeah,
NAU came into the year preseason ranked number 2 in the country. And Mike Smith, their coach, I think it was 6 years ago, dedicated himself to the women's program and said there's no reason that NAU should have the best men's running program in the country and not have the best women's running program in the country, in particular because I'm the coach. And so
yeah.
he started recruiting more, selling the story. I think the first year, I think it was 4 years ago, their team finished, they got an at-large bid, finished 16th in the country. And then he's just said that we're going to keep building and building the program until we're number one and we start winning consistently national championships like our men's program does.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think I mean, as a coach, if you already have if you have that name to you for the guys, why wouldn't it transfer over to the girls? So, especially if you're the coach. I'm surprised it took longer for the women to get to where they are.
6 years, I think, is a pretty short time.
It is, but again, like he turned around the guys were like top tier. If you hear that the same coach for the
I know,
guys
but
is
you have to recruit and
I
it
know that.
basically start. So if you consider it, he started from scratch,
Yeah.
starts a women's program, and then recruits one class. There's no way in 1 year that class is going to be, as all freshmen, be the best team in the country.
False.
And so I would say for him to do that in 6 years
Pretty
is
good.
absolutely amazing.
Is your daughter going to go to NAU?
No.
You don't know that. Just you wait, Brad. Don't take her the wind out of her sails. Maybe she'll go there and maybe she'll run lows. I mean, the upper 16s in high school, and then she makes her way
I'm
down there.
pretty sure from an academic standpoint, NAU is not the program that she wants to be at.
Who cares about academics, Brad? Any school is going to be good academically. Truly, truly.
So a degree from NAU is worth as much from Yale?
What are you talking about? Yes, it's what you do when you get there. Yes, it is 100%. I'm telling you.
How many presidents have graduated from NAU?
Who cares about Brad? Who cares about that? Your daughter, does she want to be president?
So why do they rank law programs nationally or medical
Why do
programs?
they rank any colleges nationally? Because people put a lot of money into it. That's why.
Hmm.
That's why. And your undergrad isn't nearly as important as your graduate is, as your grad school is. So going to an undergrad, doing what you need to do, get your name out there, get the internships that you need in a smaller place, serves just as much a purpose as going to a big name school and then going to the same grad school that you would have regardless.
Assuming you get into the grad school.
You're going to. Like if you are that driven to get into Yale or to go somewhere else, you're going to get into the grad school you want to. You're just going to.
Maybe. So you're saying the networks involved with Yale, Harvard, the most prestigious schools in the country, that network program that's developed through the school is equal to NAU's graduate degrees.
I didn't say she's going to get a graduate degree from NAU. I'm saying you go to NAU for your undergrad and then you go anywhere you want for your graduate. The same places that you could get into from Harvard or Yale. That's what I'm saying. You go to NAU, you get your internships, you do everything, you get the support from the faculty, and then you go on and you move on to a graduate program that is exactly what you want. That's where you need to go anyway for anything that you want to do in today's society. It doesn't matter about your undergrad.
Doesn't matter at all.
Very little.
So, but it does matter some.
It depends on what you want out of it. Do you want to say, "Oh, I went to Harvard," or does it matter? Don't think it matters.
So resumes don't matter?
Sure, resumes matter, but what you do matters more than where you went. You can go to Harvard and do absolute dog shit and get nothing out of it, and go to NAU and be like the top dog and get internships and do shit at that school and have a much better resume.
Maybe.
Definitely.
I don't know how this has anything to do with running news, but
Because I said your daughter's going to NAU and you're like, nope, academically they can't. It's just not nearly good enough. And I venture to say it's as good
I'm
as
not sure that I spoke in that exact term, but
no, but and I'm telling you, it's exactly what she makes it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, let's make that the end of the show, Jeremy.
Can do.
Signing off.
Well, I'm signing off. And guess what, Brad?
You've got homework.
I love you.
Sometimes you really creep me out, Jeremy.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, man.
All right, bud. Signing off. Love you too, bud.
All right. See ya.
See ya.